13th, 2024. This hearing is being held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth, an act relative to the protection of the wetlands as most recently amended. Notice the time and place of this hearing was published in the Fairhaven Neighborhood News on August 8th, 2024. It was also posted in the town clerk's office and the town hall. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. This meeting is being audio and video recorded for future pleasure, I guess you could say. I don't watch it.
Use? You the word
Yeah,
use?
Yeah, I don't watch it. But first order of business, minutes for approval, March 13th, 2024, April 10th, 2024. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I looked at them, they look good, they're catching up.
Yeah.
Everybody else get a chance to look at them?
Yeah, I did too.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you, Joanne. Meeting mail. Eversource notification of utility maintenance activities. Eversource line 112, row 140, counterpoise installation project. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Okay. Do you want me to read the whole letter? I can read the letter for the record. Town of Acushnet Commission, dear members of the Acushnet Conservation Commission, N-Star Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy, Eversource, respectfully submits this letter to provide the Acushnet Conservation Commission with notification that starting approximately August 12th, 2024, there will be a routine maintenance activities taking place along the existing electric transmission corridor in Acushnet, Mass. Proposed work activities include counterpoise installation on 3 existing electric transmission structures 0, 75A, and 27B. Eversource is planning to perform this work in accordance with the provisions of the Wetland Protection Act, which allows for maintaining, repairing, or replacing, but not substantially changing or enlarging existing transmission line structures or facilities without filing a notice of intent. The work will take place on the existing right-of-way west of Mendel Road in Acushnet. As shown on the attached project plans, proposed work will involve placement of timber construction matting within the 100-foot buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland. No tree clearing is necessary to facilitate the maintenance work on the existing lines. Existing access roads within the transmission corridor will be used to gain access to the work area. Appropriate best management practices will be implemented to ensure that no long-term adverse effects occur within the wetland resources as a result of the necessary maintenance work to the electric transmission system. The maintenance work details: counterpoise will be installed using open trench method. The open trench method consists of an excavation of approximately 2 to 3 feet wide, 3 to 4 feet deep trench using backhoes or excavators. The trenching operation will be limited to the length that can be completed in one day, approximately 20 to 120 feet.
50.
Oh, what is it?
Approximately 50.
Oh, 50, sorry, 50 to 120 feet, depending on field conditions. Approximately 2/3 of the excavated material will be temporarily placed alongside the trench to be reused as backfill. The remaining excavated materials will be spread out on upland areas or removed from the site. As previously stated, the work is scheduled to begin approximately August 12th and take up 1 month. If you have any questions or you would like more information, please contact me, Dorothy Lawrence, at, please contact me, let's see who it's from, Matthew Devlin, sorry, at 781-441-8845, or Dorothy Lawrence of VDH at 508-513-2708. Thank you for your consideration. Matthew Devlin. You got anything to add, Mark?
So, for this one, the start date of August 12th was after the commission's last meeting and before tonight's meeting, so there's an attached email, I believe, that I sent. Basically, really my point was in terms of sequencing and process, that while it may be exempt routine maintenance, that as a courtesy, I thought, that they should schedule it and give the commission a chance to review it.
Yeah.
So, and they, Matthew replied and they pushed it back. He provided some additional information about the work they're gonna do, but the thing that they pushed the work back till the 19th, which
Okay.
is.
5 more days from today, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so I guess this has come up a couple times before with other projects. I just thought that it'd be appropriate that,
No, I
you know,
agree.
for the commission to at least be aware of it. You get a call from.
But it also lets the public know, since this is live, anybody that's watching, they get to
Right.
see what's going on, and they get to hear what's going on. So instead of people asking, why are the mats there, why is this going on? You know what I mean? People that are interested in watching this will say, hey, listen, I saw that, this is what they're gonna be doing, you know what I mean, and they came before us. So we appreciate that, Matt.
Yeah.
And going forward, if, you know, I don't know if there needs to be any vote or policy in terms of, I'm assuming that's how the commission would like to see it.
Right.
You know, even if it's you know, we're fine with it.
Yeah.
The
No, I
public knows.
agree. Well, you know, we let them know. I mean, if we need to create a policy, then, you know, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time, you know?
Yeah,
It's
and-
nice to be able to announce it before the work, so the neighbors know at least what's going on, and that we're aware of it. So they're not calling us saying what's going on over there, you know, it's good to know before, that we announce it before the work starts. As it is, that is exempt. What is
Is
that?
there anyone here from Eversource?
Yeah, for another project.
Oh, all right.
I won't put them on the hot seat.
No.
I've not met Deb.
Yeah.
That's who I was asking about,
Okay.
not you.
All right, next letter we got from Chance Perks, the New Bedford Conservation Agent, regarding the right-of-way wildlife corridor discussion. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. This is from the New Bedford Conservation Agent. Good day, Commissioners. We reach out to you to begin a collaborative discussion about maintaining and promoting a wildlife corridor between the municipalities by working with our partners at Eversource Energy in their management of the right-of-way 114. Each of us are or will be receiving notice of intents, which we have, for Eversource pertaining to much-needed upgrades to existing infrastructure aimed at increasing more power transmission capacity and resiliency. We propose that collectively encourage and remind Eversource that their long linear right-of-way property holdings serve as a equally important role as a conduit for wildlife conservation, connecting pathways between larger wild tracts of land. Please consider in your reviews the impacts that future transmission line develop will have on migrating animals using these managed landscapes as they roam in search of food, water, and expanded habitats, and most importantly, viable mates that support genetically diverse populations. In addition to the many species of birds and insects migrating seasonally up and down the eastern seaboard, we are seeing a return of magnificent animals such as beaver, bobcat, black bears, among others, deer, and they are met with the challenge of having to navigate the built-up human environment. New Bedford is long north-south linear city of commercial and residential development, and we are working with Eversource partners to manage right-of-way 114, the only east-west corridor which is in the city's north end. This path connects with us, Acushnet Cedar Swamp, State Reservation, Southeastern Mass Bioreserve beyond to the west, and with Deep Brook Stream Corridor and the Acushnet River Wildlife Conservation easement beyond to the east. To be clear, we do not have any major concerns with the proposals before us from Eversource, but we recognize it is a good time to highlight the value of a consensus between our commissions in prioritizing the interconnectedness of our wildlands, and that a unified vision and voice is also an asset to our partners in the private sector in maintaining access points and paths critical for moving wildlife, both big and small. Please refer to the attached map that was taken from the notice of intent submission. Please feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, or ideas. Future collaboration, I'll be happy to. Best Chance Parks. Yeah, I'm all for it. I read the letter, and I like what he's thinking. Okay.
Even though we didn't put deer in there and you had.
No, I added the deer. I love them. Stormwater, that, I don't need to read that, right? That's just, we kept it on the agenda. That's continued to August 28th. That's 39 Keene Road. If anybody's here for that public hearing's been continued to the 28th.
No, can I just have a motion to continue, please?
Okay. We already did. At our last meeting, we continued it to 28th.
Yeah, we can do it again.
Oh, we can do it, I mean,
Yeah, just.
No, just say we can
motion
do
to
it again.
continue to the 28th? Is there a
Yeah,
second?
motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I like to keep it there because it just.
No, it's good.
You know.
So people can see that. Old business, continued public hearing, notice of intent, NStar Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy, SE file number 0010593. A notice of intent was filed by NStar Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy. The proposed work in the town of Acushnet includes the construction of a new 115 kilovolt overhead electric transmission line with the existing right-of-way between Eversource's Industrial Park tap in Acushnet west to the New Bedford Acushnet municipal boundaries. The proposed activities include installation of 33 new 115 kilovolt transmission line structures, installation of new 115 kilovolt conductor, optical ground wire and shield wire, installing of stone and timber mat work pads and wire pulling pads, improvement, reestablishment of right-of-way access roads and installation of new access roads, stormwater and wildlife habitat documents on file. The applicant is represented by Eileen Piscura of Power Engineers. Incorporated plan name is Acushnet to Fall River Reliability Project dated June 18, 2024. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, my name's Chris Newhall. I'm with Eversource Energy. Tonight with me, I have Karen Hanachek with Power Engineers in place of Eileen Piscura, and we've got our representative from our Community Relations Department, Anthony Bellew. And we're here tonight to discuss the Acushnet to Fall River Reliability Project. I will turn it over to Karen to give a brief kind of presentation on what we are proposing. And then we'll turn it back over to the commission to answer any questions.
Thanks, Chris. Good evening, folks. Karen Hanachek, Power Engineers. So, as stated, Eversource is proposing the installation of a new transmission line within the town of Acushnet. This project extends from just west of Mendel Road to the west towards the municipal boundary with New Bedford, which is just east of Acushnet Avenue, right here. It's 3.5 miles long in the town of Acushnet, and the line will be located within an existing, presently maintained and cleared right-of-way with other existing utility infrastructure, which is co-located within that easement. This is part of a larger project proposal. It's a joint project by both Eversource and National Grid. The full proposal is to continue the installation of the transmission line past Acushnet into New Bedford, Dartmouth, and Fall River. The Fall River portion of the project is to be owned by National Grid. The remainder of the project will be owned by Eversource. The project has gone through the Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act review process, and we did receive a certificate on that in August of 2023. And to kind of get into the details a little bit of the project, really throughout the design and planning phase of the project, really the goal was to minimize environmental impacts and specifically wetland impacts to the extent feasible. The project was designed to meet the performance standards of the Wetland Protection Act. However, it is also a limited project. There will be temporary wetland impacts associated with the project, and that will occur from the installation of construction matting. Construction matting will be installed generally for work paths, the structure locations, wire stringing and pole sites so that the new conductor can be strung between the new poles. And as well as to gain access to certain of the structure locations that are located within a wetland. These temporary impacts will be restored, and the construction netting will be removed once the project is complete. Erosion and sediment controls will be removed once the project is complete. And those temporary wetland impacts will be restored to pre-construction conditions to the extent that that's feasible. There are, I'm trying to open my project here. There are stone and gravel work pads. Those are these gray boxes that are being proposed as more of a permanent feature. Those are going to be left in place to facilitate future maintenance work on the line. That is being proposed to be left in place in wetland buffer area and riverfront area as well. Those areas will be allowed to revegetate after construction. Once the work is done, they'll naturally revegetate over time.
Are you leaving the stone in? I hope you don't mind me.
Yes.
You're gonna leave
Yep,
the stone in?
that's the
right?
proposal, yes.
Yeah, okay.
For permanent impacts, there are currently 7 structures that are located within a wetland. Example here is structure 4. This is a proposed H-frame structure, so there'll be 2 poles installed at this location, impacting the wetland. As a result of that, the total permanent wetland impacts in the town of Acushnet are 393 square feet. And that is strictly from the proposed structures. There's no other permanent wetland impacts being proposed. To mitigate for those permanent impacts, Eversource is proposing a wetland replication area, which is at this location here. This is the municipal boundary between Acushnet and New Bedford. So there is a mitigation area. It's this pink area. It extends across the border between Acushnet and New Bedford. This is Eversource fee-owned property where the wetland replication area is being proposed. The total replication area is 2,749 square feet. And of that, there's 1,725 feet here that are located within Acushnet. Eversource does have a comprehensive best management practices manual that all the contractors will be required to adhere to and follow during construction. That includes installation of erosion, sediment controls, wetland protection measures, refueling, dewatering, things of that nature to protect resource areas. And Eversource will also be implementing a wetland invasive species control plan, and that will be employed to minimize impacts or further spread of invasive species in wetlands. So measures will be taken to help ensure that those invasives don't spread out to other areas. You can see as well portions of the project, this orange kind of cross-hatching. That is natural heritage and endangered species habitat, priority habitat. Eversource has been coordinating with the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, and we did receive a conditional no-take determination for the Eversource portion of the work. So when construction comes, there will be species protection plans that are created and implemented in order to avoid and protect impacts to those listed species. That's kind of the extent of my presentation. Chris, I'll see if you have any additional comments.
I don't have anything further to add. I believe we did get the additional butter notifications out within the last 2 weeks since the previous hearing, and we did forward over the certificates of mailing for those butter notifications to Joanne. And at this time, I guess we'll take any questions from the commission on the proposal, and and then from the public as well.
All right, that structure that was going in the wetlands, you said that's H-beam?
So it's an H-frame structure. We call it an H-frame structure because it's 2 poles,
Okay,
and then it's got a cross arm. So in theory, it kind of looks like the letter H.
Yep.
right. So are they drilled like caissons?
Correct. So we've got 2 different types of structure foundations that we're going to be implementing on this project. For the structures that are essentially on, a straight through, pass through type of section of the right of way that don't have a lot of, tension
Angles.
on the pole. Those are quite literally drilled with an auger bit. A corrugated metal casing or caisson is put into the ground. The pole is then put into that, empty caisson, and then it's backfilled with processed gravel, dense grade, whatever you want to call that, and compacted so that that pole will stand straight up. The other types of foundations that we have on angle structures that do have a lot of tension coming in or going out from that conductor are on drilled pier shaft foundation. So basically, it's like any type of a sonotube type foundation that you might use for a deck, just a much larger version of that, typically about 7 feet in diameter, drilled down to about 20 to 30 feet. A rebar cage is inserted, and then it's a poured concrete foundation. So at the surface, it'll typically stick up, 1 to 2 feet above the ground surface. It does have a removable casing that kind of makes a nice round, smooth foundation, concrete face on it. That's removed, so it does appear to be a concrete pier at the end of the day. It's got a bolt pattern that's part of the rebar cage, and then we bolt the structure right to that. And those are typically either 2-pole or 3-pole structures at those locations.
Okay.
And again, connected. Sometimes if it's a 2-pole, it can be connected with a cross beam. If not, they are actually standalone, like, I won't call them monopoles because there's 3 of them, but they are standalone and not necessarily connected at the top with a cross member.
Do you guys have your protection plan for the species, endangered species?
Yeah, we have a turtle protection plan for this area of the project in Acushnet. We have done previous studies in that area over the last couple of years. We've shared those studies with the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, and we did get our conditional no-take letter that says if we implement our turtle protection plan in this area, we shouldn't have a take of rare species for this project.
Excellent.
As far as the replication of the take, I guess the number one question is the determination of the plantings. Where is that decision of what's to be restored and replaced there?
So I believe in the filing we did include the wetland replication detail. Essentially what we're proposing to do is that our fee-owned property that spans basically the municipal boundary between Acushnet and New Bedford, there happens to be a wetland boundary right there as well. It's somewhat of an irregular boundary, and what we're proposing to do to create new wetland area at that location is to excavate out some of the uplands that are immediately, again, upland of the wetland boundary, so that we'd be excavating that area down to the groundwater table, such that when we restore that area with basically topsoil and plantings, that water table will basically be within a foot of the surface there. We do propose some plantings. I'd have to pull up those details to identify the exact species that are proposed, but they'd all be obviously wetland species or, certainly facultative wet or obligate species. We purchased those through a native plant supplier in the area and be installing those as part of the project. We typically do that at the end of the project just so that during construction there is no inadvertent damage to those areas, obviously. So we would propose to do that at the end, so that as we're demobilizing our crews from the area, that's probably one of the last things that we'll do, so that we can have a full 2-year monitoring period with no potential for any inadvertent damage from construction vehicle access or things like that.
A list would be great if that could be provided for the return of the plantings, or whether they're put aside from that specific site in a reserve.
We did include a plan that actually, I think, had all the plantings in a table right on the drawing.
Yeah. This pink area, this is all upland currently. When we did our investigations, it actually appears that it potentially is historic fill in the wetland. This is the area that we're proposing to remove in order to bring it back to a wetland, wetland type. The plantings that would have been proposed, and again, I don't have that list right in front of me, my apologies, but they'll be similar to what is, in the surrounding wetland area in this location.
Yeah, the drawing, we did include that as an attachment with the notice of intent, and there was a table on that drawing that identified the species name and then the number of those plantings that would be installed.
So when you guys are working, I know you said you're under their regs of the wetlands and everything else, and you're trying to work for, is your crews have spill kits on site?
Yep.
Especially when you're saying there's gonna be drill rigs out there,
There is no law that says that they have to do that, but that's an Eversource policy, is to have a spill kit on every single piece of equipment that is, sized to be appropriate. Typically, in every truck, we want, say, a 5-gallon spill kit that can respond to smaller spills, but we also, with every crew, want to have like a 30-gallon spill kit that's got, a larger number of, spill absorbent pads, any absorbent booms.
It's got the diapers, the booms, everything else. It's actually a yellow barrel. You buy the whole barrel, it's a spill kit.
Yeah.
And
And what we'll be doing too is identifying, this is for our construction contractors, but we'll be creating a plan that shows areas where they can refuel equipment that is outside the 100-foot buffer zone. We may not have that option at every single location, just given the site-specific presence of wetlands, but we would be requesting that they move the equipment as far away from the wetlands as possible before doing any refueling. They'd obviously have a spill kit on site when that refueling is occurring, using secondary containment, say under the the spill nozzle and stuff like that, just in case there is a little bit of additional overflow that can occur, or dripping or something of that nature. So that is a requirement, and we will include that in our stormwater pollution prevention plan as part of our, again, just stormwater protection measures.
thank you.
On that, now that you said it, the stormwater, so you do have an idea what you're gonna do for replication and stuff. The only concern I have is that in town we use a lot of these wetland areas for drainage also. And did you guys have any planning, especially on the areas where you said you're gonna leave the stone? Do you have any plans or anything on water flow and how you're gonna keep the flow the same and anything like that such?
I mean, so these work pads are generally, 100 feet by 100 feet, typically crowned so that water kind of flows in each direction, so that we're not concentrating flows one way or another. But we certainly aren't proposing to install any, drainage swales or anything like that that would change any of the existing drainage that's out there. So this would just be, in site-specific locations, essentially sheet flow right to the edge of a work pad.
I understand what you're saying, but it's like putting a dam right in the middle of it. It's gonna naturally, the water's naturally gonna deter around it. So I just know that you guys done past in other neighborhoods in town, and we've had significant drainage issues that have come that in part was from filling in those and leaving spit. Let me guess, you're gonna use the same, like 1 footer under stone and all that, right?
Yeah, we'd certainly use small gravel.
Okay, so I've seen it firsthand, and then it becomes, like I said, a dam in the middle, and then the water has to revert into its own path and then goes into other areas that it's not supposed to. I just didn't know if that would be a concern.
I mean, we would certainly, I guess, address that during construction. We'll install erosion controls to certainly filter any water that's going one way or the other, but we don't anticipate any wholesale drainage pattern changes as a result of, these work areas that we're installing.
I just think it might be something that I might want to look into, just because, like I said, it might not be on record, but I know past, I've noticed it makes significant differences. And then the town itself has had to go out and put swales and stuff in and try to fix what was already done, you know?
I guess to piggyback off of that, in the plans, in the notice of intent, and I seen it in this letter we got too, it says the remaining excavated materials will be spread over upland areas or removed from the site. What, I guess how much is being spread,
So we would be seeking to spread, whatever comes out of that individual foundation's location. So, I would imagine that it's anywhere from 10 cubic yards to probably less than 50 cubic yards per foundation.
Right.
So, if there's suitable upland area outside of any 100-foot buffer zones, we'd spread that just in an even area, an even layer within just an unused part of that right of way, and then seed and mulch that area so that it does
I just
grow
don't.
back.
I just don't want to change topography.
Yeah, we obviously, we're not installing, mounds of gravel that are multiple feet high. This would be, changes in topography of, a few inches.
So if you're taking 50 yards out, you put back 50 yards of stone, that's a big hole. That ain't a small little.
And you just said that you were
Well,
going
it says,
around it.
the remaining will be removed from site. I was just
So
curious.
that's if there's, again, an area within that portion of the right-of-way that is not within any Concom jurisdictional areas, outside of any buffer zones and things like that. If there are no areas like that present, then we would seek to basically take that soil and bring it off to like a receiving facility, like a landfill for daily backfill.
Not much we can, I don't know how much we could even say or do about it, but I think that,
It's definitely worth bringing it up.
oh, definitely bring it up, and like, we make our homeowners and everything go through some of these processes. As much as you're exempt, I would expect to see the same things that we would receive from a homeowner, with water flow rates and all that stuff, and, yeah, I just think it would be fair, and it's not only fair, it's, like I said, I've seen it become a problem in past, and large problems, and then it falls on town to fix it, and then you got neighbors complaining, and areas becoming wetlands that aren't wetlands, because now the water that's backflowing and coming up farther than it was before is carrying seeds from ferns and other wetland species which grow, and then it turns into a nightmare. You go online to look up where your wetland lines are, and the next thing you know, that 100 feet different, because they'll back up, 10 feet here, 10 feet there, 10 feet here, 10 feet there. Then it all grows in. The stone works as a grate at first when it's just stone, but then all the photography grows in and all the leaves turns into a more organic soil inside of it. Then the water can't flow through no more, just stuff like that. So I think it would be very strong to see what it would actually do. Maybe not do it for everyone, but at least show one.
They already went under a MEPA review, so I think all that's been looked at, They already have them.
Yeah, these areas, we're not proposing to pave them, we're not proposing to install new stormwater drainage that will capture additional volumes and put it somewhere where it's not already coming down. I mean, we're proposing to obviously have a small work area for each pad that will essentially sheet flow any runoff to that same area. And I, certainly understand the concern with changing wholesale drainage, but, that's not exactly what we're planning to do, I guess. We're planning to have all that runoff still on site in the same area that it would have,
It's going to be
it would have
returned
fallen
in kind.
anyways.
It's going to be returned to in kind is when you.
That's right. I
complete,
mean,
right?
it will.
And what is the extent of the mattings that will be left in terms of number?
We won't be leaving any timber matting at all.
No, I understand
All the
the
timber
timber.
matting will
We
be
realize,
removed, but
but
the gravel that's
right,
proposed, we would propose to leave that in place just because, if for any future maintenance activities, that allows us to get our vehicles back in there
Yeah.
and get right to the structure so that we can get, to
And
whatever,
that's just
whatever
specific
needs to be done.
spots, correct?
Yeah, and that's in the specific spots shown is gravel on those, on the work plans provided with the notice of intent.
And like on the ones I've seen specifically, like they put a road, used it for access, like they said, that we're going through right now. And next thing you know, they ran into a problem. I don't think they talked to anybody. Like they had a spot that's like an acre long that they put the road, and then they put in a small drain about this big. Just from future work I've seen, which that does not make that's not gonna, that small hole on that, it would never, the mathematic, you don't even have to look at it on paper, it doesn't even come close. I don't know, it's just I don't know.
Be mindful of it.
Yeah, I mean, there are existing roads out there that we would, be utilizing. If there's any potholes, we would be filling those in just to smooth them out, just to maintain them. Obviously, we're not out there every single day. We come in kind of as needed, so that maintenance, doesn't get done every single year or something like that. So some of these areas do get, a little potholed from, unauthorized vehicle traffic, to be honest. But we would be, maintaining those roads and smoothing them out, certainly not, building them up. We're not trying to install dams for our roadways or anything like that, such that
No, but-
drainage wouldn't be able to either just continue to maintain its existing flow patterns.
How thick are the pads that you're leaving, the stone pads?
I mean, typically, they're gonna be about a foot of stone that's put down. They don't have to be 100% level, but there may be a little bit of cut and fill on either side, just so that, trucks aren't on a, a significant slope that they.
So you're not
be
putting
unsafe.
in these ain't 3 or 4 foot thick pads where you're digging
No.
2 feet out?
And something
No.
more. Okay.
It's just a staging.
Yeah.
So if the
That's why I
bottom,
asked,
so you're telling me if the bottom doesn't end, which I know from being in construction, you get into a wet area and the bottom doesn't end, there's not gonna be more than a foot of stone you put in?
We're not
You're gonna have
putting,
to-
yeah, I guess we're not putting any stone in any like bottomless bog type areas. That would be all timber matting. That would be all timber matting, so that it's,
It would.
A lot of
we
these-
can pull that
Yeah,
out.
the stone wouldn't suffice,
But a
right?
lot of these wetlands that we speak of are endless pits.
Yeah, but none of the pads are going in the wetlands.
None of the stone pads are
Right.
being put in
the wooden
wetlands.
mats.
No, it won't, that won't.
Those would be all
Frame
timber
mats,
It
matted
won't-
pads.
Yeah, it won't
Yeah,
work.
so we'll be able to remove those when we're done. And obviously any vegetation that's there, we put the mats over them so that when we do remove the mats, the vegetation can basically come right back. If there's, any significant areas where there is no vegetation, we put down a wetland seed mix so that, that kind of helps facilitate the restoration of native species.
The odds are that everything grows back when you pull the wooden mats up.
No doubt.
The odds are. Yes. I
It
know.
does, and that is the best way to basically allow that to grow back is, just put the mats over the existing vegetation. If there's real thick woody vegetation, we may need to cut that, obviously. But usually if it's, just smaller brush that's only like an inch or so in diameter, the timber mat can go right over it. It does bend over, but that will come back with, within a season of growing season.
You guys have, hold on, sorry, you guys have designated areas for concrete washout?
That's right. We, as part of our SWIP, we put those on a drawing too, identifying an area where concrete washout could occur. That's typically done in we erect like a straw bale corral with plastic inside of it so that the concrete trucks can wash out in those areas, the water can evaporate, and then whatever's remaining for concrete can just get thrown away as construction debris.
Is your SWIP complete? You guys have a complete copy?
We haven't submitted it to the EPA yet as our electronic notice of intent, but I think we're getting through the permitting process, making sure that we've got all of our conditions understood so that we can put that into a stormwater pollution prevention plan document to give to the contractor. And then we'll also have environmental monitors on site at least once a week during construction that are reviewing all those activities to make sure that the contractor's abiding by that stormwater pollution prevention plan. Those reports come to me, we review those at weekly construction meetings so that, if there are any tweaks or anything like that that need to get made, those do get made.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I guess, no, yeah.
Anybody from the public? Questions from the public?
I just,
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Mike.
had just a quick question about the replication. I know the science of replication, wetlands, replication's come a long way. I did read through the more detailed description of it. I think it's scrub shrub.
Yes.
Wetland and it's reclaimed. It's, just doing the math, it sounds like it's about 3 to 1, but I don't know exactly. From what you said.
The only reason that we're proposing that is just from, truly a construction ease perspective. If you've got a wetland boundary that's kind of, undulating like that, we're essentially just trying to straighten it out, if you will. And that is just, again, a function of making sure that it's easy to construct and we're not trying to construct some jagged boundary in and of itself. Construction equipment will need to get in there. It's going to need to reach over. It'll be easier to probably do that from a single location or, just move along a boundary and then scooping out those upland areas to try to smooth out that irregular wetland boundary. So it was really just a function of looking at the site, seeing how easy it would be to sort of go between 2 points and take out a lobe of upland, and that just came out to be the 2,700 square feet.
So I mean, I honestly I'm not familiar with the current ratio because not all wetlands are created, or not all wetlands, are created equal or replicated equally. So scrub shrub may be a harder one to replicate than marsh, or so I don't know if the 3 to 1, I was looking for the ratio, that's probably the prescribed, there's somewhere in guideline, the replication guidelines, there must be.
The requirement is 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 to 1,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
And
good for you.
on other projects that have happened recently,
On the
we've
1.5,
also
right?
created scrub shrub wetland areas, and they are very successful.
Yeah, science is coming along.
And the shrubs we're planting will be young shrubs, probably in that, anywhere from 3 to 5 foot range, but obviously they'll grow with time. So at the outset, within the first year or two, it's certainly, a youngish, emergent type of a wetland, but with time, that'll kind of grow up and turn into a scrub shrub area.
2 years monitoring.
Correct.
That's great. It's more, 3 to 1's good, 5 to 1's better.
Yep. Well, and like I said, the only reason that it kind of came out lucky like that was just looking at point A and point B and taking out the lobe of upland between. And it was just, hey, let's propose to do this just to make sure that we can make this work and not have to, potentially incur into a portion of that wetland to create new wetland, if that makes sense.
Is the other amount, is that going to also serve for New Bedford for
New Bedford and Dartmouth.
Dartmouth?
Yeah. Overall, the entire project has less than 1,000 square feet of total permanent wetland impact from our structure installations. So, it's about a 2.5 to 1 ratio, but like I said, that was really just a function of how to make this easy for construction.
Thank you.
Did you get anything back from Bill?
I did not.
No.
He doesn't like us anymore.
All right. Well, I spoke with you in the field. I asked a lot of questions. You had a lot of good answers. I understand this project has to happen. It's, in all the answers that I got from them, I'm confident that, you know, they're gonna do it right. But, you know, with the notice of intent and the order of conditions that we're gonna issue for this project, you know, I wanted to just have Bill look at it. We were waiting for a quote from Bill. So, to get to you guys, just to look at everything, just a quick overview, areas of concern, stuff like that. Nothing, not like a full in-depth peer review, but just, you know, an overview. That's what I was looking to do. So I mean, continue to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you guys? Or do you
Absolutely.
want to go 1 month, or do you want to go to the next meeting? I know you guys, you're still waiting on other permits?
I mean, we're waiting on our other permits.
Yeah.
We do want to get this
I just don't-
construction in the first quarter of next year.
Right.
So, you know, I guess we've got a little time.
2 weeks?
We've got 2 weeks.
I mean, it's not gonna impede you.
It won't impede us,
Right,
no.
at this
What's that?
point, right?
putting Manton down.
No, that was for a
Yeah.
total other project.
Right.
That was emergency repair on Main Street.
Right.
That was
I mean,
the project.
No, but,
Get-
yeah, I mean, it's all matted already.
Yeah, that's for the one that I just read, I think.
You guys haven't put mats down, right?
Not for this
They haven't-
project.
No.
haven't started
I
anything.
didn't think so.
No,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
not
very
started.
lost on-
We did
Yeah,
have an
it's a
emergency
different one.
pole replacement off of Main Street.
Yeah.
That work was done probably about a month ago at this point. All that matting is now removed. But that was
When they removed
basically,
No, it's still there. On Hathaway
well,
Road.
so this is off of
Oh, Main
Main
Street.
Street.
Oh, you guys talking
Keys-
Main Street? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's gone.
Keys Tree Farm.
Yeah, that's gone.
So
I'm
doesn't
not
this
sure if
one
that's
start
what
over
you're-
near me at the transformer?
There's another one on Hathaway
There's
Road
another
that's
one
all
going on
matted.
Hathaway Road, yeah.
I'm not familiar with that specific project.
It just went
You
through
know,
like,
that was, if we've got matting installed, it should have been something that was noticed to you folks through a
I think we got a
maintenance
letter, I don't
notification.
think that,
I don't think it ever came
No,
before
because
us.
that-
yeah, they didn't,
And that's-
they were exempt.
and
for that
see,
project.
Yeah.
but that's where it gets, puts up the red flags, that's one of the areas that's all wetland, and that's the one that doesn't come in front of us.
Oh.
Whatever, alright. Let's go.
So, you guys okay with the next meeting, 28th?
Yeah,
Did you
Yeah.
have the green cards from the first mailing, Karen? From,
I scanned them all to you. I
just the
didn't bring
proof
them
of mailing,
tonight.
but not the return cards from the actual
Green cards,
butters
things
that
in the
signed
wall.
them?
Oh, we do, yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yep.
I know that this, we usually collect them.
yeah, if you want
But
the
the
true
second
hard
mailing you
copies.
did, just,
The second-
how does that work? Because I'm not,
It was a proof of mailing from the post office.
Yeah. It's hard to get the post office to do it, but essentially.
so those don't have
They don't have
return
green cards,
receipts?
no,
They don't have-
it's a certification
It's
from
just a
the post
certification
office that this
okay.
was.
But the first ones you would have the
Correct.
green cards, okay. I don't know if the commission, do you want the
Yeah, we
green cards for
normally, we
everyone?
collect them for
They're
every
reviewed,
project.
Yeah,
right?
so
We put 'em in
next
the
one.
file.
Yeah, please.
All right, so you guys are asking for continuance till the 28th of August?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Could we ask for a conditional approval pending Bill's review? If Bill has something that he points out that you guys are uncomfortable with, then we come back, but if he has nothing, then it's approved.
Yeah, I guess my only question would be is, if you haven't heard from Bill,
But has he looked at it? So-
Yeah, well, has he-
I
has he
mean, you
looked
just
at it?
agreed to 2 weeks
Because,
and now you're backing
is
out
he
of it?
busy? I guess I
I
would want to know that it is at least moving forward.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I think as long as Bill don't say nothing, we're
Yeah,
gonna
why
say
don't we-
something, but.
why don't we do the
They're gonna
next
have to
meeting?
meet to sign, so I don't think, I mean.
Sure, well, like I said, I
You said
however
it won't
the
impede
commission,
you at this point.
however the commission'd like to handle it, I just want to make sure that,
We'll definitely get some
Bill
communication.
has seen this and he's either
Yeah.
moving on it or, I don't know, he's telling you he's not interested.
Well, now we have
or
an
whatever the
agent,
case
so
might be.
they'll communicate, I can communicate, there'll be more time between the two of us to get some answers.
Yeah, like, go ahead, Christian. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I could go either way with it. I mean, I trust Bill, he's good. I don't,
It doesn't seem necessary at this point, does it? I mean, if it's not
Yeah,
going to impede you,
yeah,
I just, you know,
other than having a
it's just a
communicator
courtesy to allow us
Yeah,
to
how far do you commute?
I'm coming down from Situate, so it's about an hour, but I left from
Stop your
Situate,
whining, I
so-
just
that's why I was going
Well,
That comes in handy.
It was just-
it's not a major inconvenience.
No, I
And-
came
and I
for the
don't-
last meeting, I'm here for this
You know,
meeting, I came for the
I
site.
don't
visit.
think it'll
I don't
be,
mind.
I don't think it'll be extensive either.
No, I don't mind, like I said, I
So-
just would want to make sure, obviously, that Bill's.
Right, and are they gonna have to do a complete presentation again, or no?
No.
Oh, okay, good, yeah, so it should be easy, only you, don't have to bring everybody. We'll even make it easier for
Oh,
you.
yeah, it'd just be,
And two reams of paper, you know,
No,
for.
That's
We
the thing.
got that comment from Dartmouth too, that it was extensive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the plans and it says, oh,
Yeah.
you know, it lists the pole number, and then I'm looking at, you know, where the work is in our jurisdiction.
Right.
And then I scroll down through the plans, and then my, either phone freezes, my computer freezes.
Yeah,
It's,
I get
the
it.
plan is just huge, I can't like wrap my head around
The
it.
comment we got from Dartmouth was that, you know, they'd like an executive summary next time, which, you know, we do try to include that in the cover letter to be as brief as possible, but, you know, I thought that that was a good suggestion, and that's something that we'll be, you know, incorporating into our projects moving forward, just to allow for, you know, a brief review of a page or two of information as opposed to, you know, however many pages this filing was, but, you know, for some of our other agencies like DEP and Army Corps of Engineers, you know, they do want to see all that information, so, you know, we tend to err on the side of providing more information than less.
Yeah, like I said, I'm confident in this project, it's just,
I agree.
I think we all are.
Right, and the
Yeah.
guidance for me from
No,
Bill,
check.
filling out the order.
Like I said, I
It's a little,
understand
you
it,
know,
I just want to make sure.
that
right, that's the biggest thing.
The bill-
We want to issue you a complete order of conditions, and if there's any special conditions that he may recommend,
Yeah.
to get them in there.
That
All
would
right,
be.
I mean, that's understandable.
That's the biggest thing, you know, we want to get I know you guys got your Ts crossed and
Another
Is dotted, we
perspective.
want to do the same,
Understood.
so. All right, is there a motion to continue to the August 28th?
Continue to 28th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, it's continued to the 28th, we'll see you on the 28th.
Thank you,
Thank you.
formality.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, next order of business, Robinson Road Solar Surety, review of matters presented, votes may be taken. So I talked to the chairman of the planning board, and a couple of weeks ago, we required a surety for the Robinson Road Solar project in order for them to connect to the grid. I was asked by the building inspector they need something there, just to make sure that everything gets done. And the town administrator as well, they both said that, so. But apparently, it wasn't, the plantings were not the only thing they needed a surety on. There's screening that's going up on the fences or whatever. And apparently, the number that we voted on is significantly higher. So I was asked to rescind the vote that we made for the $20,000. And planning board is gonna issue a new monetary value and
Yeah,
vote on it.
determination.
A new
Yeah,
determination
right,
at their next meeting, which I think is next
right.
Thursday.
Then we'll review that.
And and then the surety, and then that's it. So that was the other thing,
Okay.
I half jokingly told Mark, I said, well, we get a lot of complaints about, grass not cut and trees are dead and, the screening's not, I said, I'm gonna field all those calls to your office. And he said, oh, no, that's fine. They're gonna take care of it. I mean, they're not in the buffer zone, they're along
get
the
it.
road, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, they said that they'll have the building inspector on it, so.
Makes sense.
You know, after that thing about the hay being too high on the sides of the road,
Right,
I wonder how often you got caught when it was hayfield.
I know, right?
Well, they used to keep, they used to
They
keep
mow
it
every
clear,
week.
8 feet in. Most fields, hay fields, they mow the 8 feet in. They mow around it, so you always get that buffer. So as a kid, I was always there, and there was chicken shit lane and everything else, and it was always, the edge was always good, that's where we'd pull over with the bikes and smoke our pot, that kind of stuff.
Jeez.
There's a guy.
Hey, we were kids.
All right, so back on the topic. So planning's gonna be in charge of the surety, so
Enough.
I'll entertain a
Okay.
motion
So-
to rescind the commission's
So
vote.
moved, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's all set, we can cross that off the list.
So I just gonna type up something quick.
Yeah, something quick, send it to planning, let them know that we rescinded our vote, and it's all on them now. Okay, new business, public hearing, RDA, Thomas and Deborah Threffel, Quaker Lane, map 6 portion of Lot 19. A request for determination was filed by Thomas and Deborah Thruffle for property located at Quaker Lane, map 6, portion of Lot 19. The applicant proposes to construct a single-family home and to fill and grade partially within the 100-foot buffer zone of an off-site bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Matt Leone of Schneider Divington Leone. Plan name is Sewage Disposal System. Site plan dated July 22nd, 2024. Review matters presented, votes may be taken. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening, Matt Leone with Schneider Divignon Leone. I'm here tonight on a request for determination of applicability on behalf of Thomas and Deborah Thruffle. The property is a 2.77 acre retreat lot consisting of open field located on the south side of Quaker Lane, being a portion of Lot 19 on Assessors Map 6, and is currently identified as Retreat Lot 1. The applicant is proposing the construction of a 2-bedroom, single-family dwelling and the addition of fill to the site to accommodate the design grading. A portion of the proposed work will be within the 100-foot buffer zone from an off-site bordering vegetated wetland system. The proposed activity will be outside the 50-foot buffer zone to the wetland system, and the applicant has installed a siltation fence and straw wattles along the 50-foot buffer zone line to mark limits of work and prevent runoff from exiting the project area. I believe that the silt fence was up during your on-site visit, and the applicant has provided photos of the straw wattles being in place. A boulder retaining wall is proposed along the 50-foot buffer zone line to contain the fill and to function as a permanent demarcation. The home will be serviced by a common driveway, on-site sewage disposal system and well, which are outside the 100-foot buffer zone to the wetland system. And upon completion of the construction activities, the site will be finished with topsoil and seed. The treat lot is not located within a mapped priority or estimated habitat according to the Massachusetts Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. The site does not lie within land subject to flooding according to FEMA or near a USGS mapped perennial stream. The applicant requests that the commission issue a negative determination as the limited work proposed within the 100-foot buffer zone will not impact the neighboring resource area. So I have the on our site plan, obviously the proposed dwelling, 100-foot buffer zone is shown in red. In blue. The red indicates the siltation fence and straw wattles. The orange is showing a 50-foot buffer zone, and the green line is indicating the assumed wetland line. We did have the wetlands flagged and delineated by Brad Holmes from get the company letters, Environmental Consulting and Restoration. But the flags were removed prior to our survey, so we weren't able to actually physically locate them and show them on the plan. But according to his delineation and conversations with him, the wetlands would be westerly of that wall. So we held a more conservative line up to the bottom face of that wall as our mark to create our buffer zones. Questions?
No, we took a site visit there Saturday. There is a stone wall at the edge of the field already. I mean, it's not like formed, but there's stones there probably from farming or whatever.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant wall. I've surveyed it, so it's definitely intact.
And then where the erosion control is now, and where the stone that he intends to build the wall. I mean, I don't. It's everything's demarcated. Like, it's very straightforward. I would say I don't have an issue with it.
How big is this stone wall gonna be? The only thing I'm worried about what is in future, doesn't it, if it's over 12 feet, pop a stormwater permit, maybe it's not.
No, that's no longer in our bylaw about stone walls or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's been removed.
Nice.
Yeah, all right, that's what I got. I appreciate the additional erosion control installation. Anybody else?
The pictures were good, the straw wattle.
Yeah.
I think the work looked good too. Whoever dug that felt good. They dug it deep.
Oh, my question is, did the septic already go in front of Board of Health? Is that all set?
I'm not sure if it has been submitted and we've gotten approval from the Board of Health. I don't have an answer for you on that. I know it's in process, but
Okay.
I'm not, I can't give you an answer as to whether or not it has been approved by them, if we've gotten a stamp of approval.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and I did do some overlays for the question about the boundaries on the computer, and as what I could find off the other sites that I used to find a lot of my math and all that stuff, it was right on the wall,
Yeah.
which is.
Anybody from the public? Questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to issue a negative determination for Quaker Lane, map 6, portion of lot 19, contingent on approval from the Board of Health for the septic.
Yeah, it has to coincide.
Right.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All set?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
That's fine.
Okay. Discussion. Notification of utility maintenance activity letters. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I think we might have touched on this a little bit.
Talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea to just, we'll see how they follow up on the next one. Yeah.
Any dates that don't coincide with what we're doing, we'll just send them a little message again and.
Yep.
Now, can we come up with like a procedure that they have to?
Yeah, we can, and we can vote on it.
Right?
We can draft something up.
Make it a permanent thing,
Yeah,
right?
no,
No
that's
matter
what I
what,
mean.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get all of us.
Make it procedural.
That's right, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, right, I mean, even if it is exempt work,
Yeah, regardless.
please,
It has to go on
notify the
agenda
commission
for-
before they're, look at the schedule, it's all
Because what
online.
happened was Eversource was calling us back, was it the VHB?
Yeah, for another one.
Right, they wanted an emergency certification, I was like, whoa, what do you mean emergency certification? So when I called the circuit rider, she was like, you can't issue that, that has to be issued before. So when we saw this one, we were like, wait a minute, they're already asking to do work before you guys even have a chance to review anything, so it didn't make any sense.
Right.
So let's just get it straight, if it's regular vegetation work like they've sent years
Yeah.
past, this seems more in detail, like me and Mark were reviewing it, it's much more detailed
Right,
work, so it's only fair for the public and fair for you guys to review the paperwork they're sending us. It's not
Correct.
just a simple letter.
Or review it.
It's attached
Review
to
it, yeah.
It's just a simple little vegetation letter.
right.
And then the other thing is, like we touched on too, is that it shows the public what's happening. So if something comes through here, before it goes out, before they start their work, it gives out a lot more information and everybody knows. And then if someone calls us, we can say, hey, listen, we already know about that,
Right.
they came before us. And so I think it is a good idea to come up with a procedure that has to be gone through.
How do we, like, what if they do this and they say it doesn't bother neighbors and stuff, and it does? How do we go approach that? Would they be responsible? There must be some type of way to.
I mean,
Like we got
a lot of
Steve.
these projects are exempt, and
And we're
it's just a
only-
courtesy to let us know, I
And
mean,
we're only conservation, so if they're bothering a neighbor, that might be the Board of Health or the building department's gotta get involved, you know what I mean? But
I'm just using it,
Yeah.
like I was saying, we have future, but like that guy Steve, where do we send him? We just have the guy, he comes here and pokes his head in every other meeting, and we're all like biting our tongues because nobody knows where to go.
yeah. I told them, I've contacted the Board of Selectmen for them,
Yeah, I know, so what do we do about the Eversource, like, is there, and there must be a way to.
no, they're exempt, man.
yeah.
So them coming before us and going over everything is really nice for us
Yeah.
and for the public,
Yeah.
you know? And we get to ask the questions, how thick, or whatever we're asking,
It's a
you know?
simple courtesy, you know,
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
it is.
Okay, on to the next topic, violations, 24 Main Street, possible wetland
Yeah,
violation.
that's good. Yeah, sure, we can try that, yeah.
Possible
Makes
wetland
sense.
violation, review
Yeah.
matter presented,
Right.
votes may be taken. Okay, well, we had, received numerous calls questioning what was going on at this address. The commission went out there for a site visit. I guess I'll speak to my observations. I don't know if wetlands were filled in. I'm not a botanist, and the land wasn't delineated. There was a reasonable person that's been on this commission would determine that the work was done in the buffer zone. I can definitely say that. But I don't know to what extent. I guess that's what I got.
Oh, Ryan, from what I found online, I just handed out a sheet. I don't know if you had time to look at it.
I haven't. No.
But on the site I use, I can circle areas, I can get in depth with them, I can zoom in on them, find out exactly offsets of what GIS has on file, and this is what I came up with. So the wetland edge that's on file is 230 foot off the road.
All right. See, we'll save this because this is going to get continued anyways.
But this is all,
Yeah, it needs
yeah.
to be-
Yeah, give us a chance to
Right, it hasn't been-
absorb
right,
what's
right.
on this piece of paper before we start going over it. I mean, I don't want to turn this into a whole thing right now.
No,
So what are we gonna do here?
I think we need to have a botanist go in there and
well, yeah.
and delineate.
Property,
property.
and then go from there.
Yeah,
I mean,
So
that's what I
anyways,
think.
But
so
what
I
I'm
didn't get to do
saying-
the site visit, but any site that's been cleared, he's gonna do it by an auger. That is gonna determine where the wetlands are.
Sure.
Because if it's cleared, that's the only thing he has left is to go by dirt.
Right.
Then he'll be able to go by the plants that still are there.
Yeah, right.
And give us a good recommendation of what's been done and what hasn't been done. But I 100% agree. I think the first thing to do is have the owners get a botanist there and give us the flags and leave the flags for us to do another visit. I didn't get to visit this Saturday. I had a service, but you know what I mean? I think it should be something that we get a botanist in there and then we go back for another site visit.
I mean, none of us are professionals, so.
I agree.
I'm not saying I'm a professional.
Oh, I'm not saying saying
not
anything about
pointing
you.
at
I'm not,
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying in general,
I mean-
it's good to, when you go to an open field or an open cleared area, I think it's good to have a line to know that, where to start. You need a starting line. And I think the delineation will be the starting line.
I just find an accurate delineation being very hard to prove at this point in time. He's been bringing in material since 2000 and
But the botanist will put that on his
23.
report.
Yeah, I mean.
The botanist will put it on
they
his
can-
report.
That'll all be in there,
Especially if he's got an auger,
So,
he's gonna take an auger,
all I
pull a
was-
sample,
all
he'll be
I'm
able to say,
saying
there's
is-
been a 1 foot fill or whatever's been done. I think a
all
botanist
right.
is the
So
way.
all I'm saying is, as on file, that's delineated on. These are our numbers we are looking at. So for everybody on the board that was there, we do have an idea, and these are the numbers that we were looking at. And that's from what's on record. And don't we usually say you gotta give like a 30 to 40 foot buffer just for the flags?
Well, I mean,
So,
There's-
relatively, right?
Yeah,
So what I'm
either
saying,
conservative,
so all I
or-
wanted to bring up was, so everybody knows, and I was here in case anybody had any questions, these are exact numbers. So 230, that's exactly on the line. That's record. The channel, where it starts, from the closest point on the running the property line, is 403. The area impacted is 2,000 square feet or half an acre. That's what I found without the botanist. This is all without the botanist. This is all just, like if I was to go buy this piece of property tomorrow, I would pull up this information before I approach this property. This is what I would go by. So I'm looking at it as, not that he's in or out, but looking at it as, even if he did decide that this is what would be online and this is what, say I would go by. You know what I'm saying? Just so everybody's aware.
So at this point, I'd like to make a motion
well, let's,
to call in.
Hold on.
would you like to speak to this, or you,
I'm just absorbing all this, to be
Okay.
honest with you. This is
yeah.
pretty foreign.
Can you come up to the podium, please? State your name.
So my name is Jose Roman. Myself and my wife own the property on 324 Main Street. And as I mentioned back there, I'm just trying to absorb all this. This is, like, the intent was to remove the trees. They posed a problem to the horses. The horses posed a problem to the public if they got out. This is where I'm at.
But
And if something needs to be rectified, I'm on board.
so you're telling me right now you were only trying to do the trees, but yet you were bringing in fill and you had machinery sunk in it.
Because I traveled, the machinery was sunken because I traveled through there. and-
Okay, so then
and
why
I-
were you
and
bringing dirt in?
I'm not,
Why were you bringing dirt in then if that was your intent?
I mean, I don't, listen,
All right, I'm just asking.
I realize that,
Right.
but at this
Let's
point,
continue this. Let's not go over.
It's yet to be determined.
Yeah,
And
let's-
so,
So
at
you're
this
gonna,
point,
so what the commission is gonna ask of you is to provide us with delineation of your property. So-
well,
So,
Well, do you want,
is
as a,
that all his property per se?
well, yeah, we have,
Something acres there.
and that was the other, that was the other thing that.
Well, no, I.
yeah, not the whole
Yeah,
property.
No, I,
No, the impacted areas.
Yes.
yeah, impact of area.
Right, correct. Let me rephrase
that's,
that.
that's what I was trying to.
That was another thing. I did this as this
Yeah,
was half the
because
reason
that-
I was late, but half that reason was like you get. I don't even think some of that was his property.
Well, yeah, but it still
Yeah.
should be considered in
So,
Yeah,
a
so we can have-
determination.
I think not only should we have a botanist go out there, I think he's going to have his land professionally surveyed too, to give us a line. And then the neighbor's going to have to be able to have a say in this too, which impacted their property. No, that would only be fair. We're talking a big deal right now. This is
I
not.
don't
Well,
This is not a little
I
thing.
don't know,
no,
To replicate's like $150 a square foot.
again, it's, you know, it's yet to be determined.
Yeah, it's
so
tough.
I don't wanna,
I don't wanna
yeah,
put a.
I'm not gonna, not gonna shoot from the hip yet. you know,
Right.
I'm just saying. Okay,
Yeah, I don't
so
wanna
from what is on
I don't wanna
record,
speculate
we're-
either. We-
from what's on record, this is all facts.
I have a question. You guys walked further back on that property than I did. Is there an intermittent stream back there?
Yes, there is.
Yes. So this is the way that goes, now that that answer has been provided. This is actually, should be before the DEP, because there is an intermittent stream on
Review
that
of,
property in the
yeah.
back. This is a DEP issue now.
And
And if we don't report this to the DEP, we look like fools.
And then also
Okay,
there's a
look
little,
it up, it's black and white.
Yeah.
and there's a pond back there. Stay back distant. I wrote these numbers so you could see it in perspective. Just the pond alone, we're not supposed to go in there like what, 300 feet? You're
200.
supposed
200.
200 feet. So you're looking. So to tell me you didn't see it being impacted is
Right.
maybe you didn't realize what we walked into. But just that alone, 200 feet around that whole property brings you into the middle of the horse pasture. It seems like the gentleman might have got an inch, and he took a few miles.
Well,
there's a lot of different aspects to this. It's
This is a
blatantly,
giant problem, and we are obligated.
in this,
Definitely not.
And we've been there years ago.
Yes.
Oh, you have, Evan, at
Yeah,
one
we
point?
went there years ago.
Been there
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
For the first I've been there.
You- Oh,
All right,
okay.
so, I mean,
so you've been there for, on
Well,
wetland,
I don't
But
remember why.
regardless.
wetland
The
things.
issue before us is, you know,
But if he, what Everett's getting at is if they've been there already, he knows that he wasn't supposed to be
We were there for other issues.
Yeah.
just with
We weren't there
wetlands.
for what we're talking about
no,
tonight.
I wouldn't think, right?
And
No.
it should have been, it shouldn't be brought up neither. if it's-
No, that's my point.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why
You know,
it was a big
Right,
thing.
so-
the issue before us is,
So we have a couple things here, I guess. I mean, the
Yeah.
intermittent stream really changes things.
Absolutely,
well,
and that's why I
again,
wanted
it does a
to.
lot.
if it does,
Okay, so we are obligated.
And like for room to stand on, he does have some room to stand on with the pond.
could possibly.
I don't see it happening, but maybe he will be able to find a way that he can prove that it was man-made.
well, some,
Agricultural, did anybody look?
I'm open to suggestions on how you guys want to proceed.
Mr. Mitten, did you ever look to see if that was any agricultural land in there or anything like that?
Nope,
No
I have
zoning?
not had the opportunity yet.
Okay.
Regardless of the fact, there's still an intimate stream back there.
Yeah, but, so, with agricultural, it's different because you can clear
Right.
trees and
Yeah.
shrubs for access of livestock.
Yeah.
But it has to be up livestock, you can't just go in and just mow things, and it doesn't mean clear.
All right,
No,
changes.
Right,
Because of the-
whatever the, absolutely.
Well, Eric, I mean, we have an agent now. I think the agent could take during the day and make a phone call and discuss this
Yeah.
and see what the next route to go is. I
Call the
mean,
circuit rider.
yeah, I'll call the
Yeah.
DEP and yourself and talk to him directly.
Yeah.
And just say, which way should this commission
Right,
go?
protocol, yeah.
Right, and just say, the
Yeah,
property
what
is
the
this, it has an intimate
protocol
stream, it
would
has a
be.
pond.
Yeah.
There's been no delineation line yet,
No.
no botanist has been on site. Backfill has been brought in, give them the whole details of it, and let's see
Step
what
by
they say.
step.
If you see the circuit rider and the DEP, and they're gonna tell us exactly what to do for the right way, and if we did it wrong the first time, at least now we're not gonna do it wrong, we're gonna do whatever they suggest.
Correct. I
I'm
agree
sure
with
the
that.
pond's on his property.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I
I
can't hear.
don't think the pond is on his property.
Yeah, no, there was one right there.
Is the
We walked
pond on
right
your
to it.
property?
So according to my neighbor, his great-grandfather actually dug that pond out so they would go
But that's
ice
on,
skating.
No.
that's on the Broder property,
No, that's a
isn't it?
different one.
I
Evan.
don't know. I don't
I
know.
think
the
that's
road.
on Broder's
Different
property.
pond.
That's.
Different pond.
Is that the big property?
Again, we don't know
Yeah,
because
no,
the
that's,
property's
yeah,
on survey.
that's behind.
That's
uh,
14
Right.
acres down the road a ways.
When we
no,
walked
that's
in,
behind Main Street Fomals, that pond.
I wish
It's not
I
on-
could-
it's not on-
Oh, is
I wish
it?
I could
Yeah,
print it out.
behind,
The one,
Main
all
Street.
right,
That's
So,
not-
Okay,
when
yeah.
we walked in, the pond to the right-hand
Yeah.
side of all the clearing, right there, that was,
Oh,
that's a pond.
Yeah.
That's a pond.
Yes, a water.
Or a spring, or
Water hole.
whatever you want to, that was
I get what you're
really
saying.
dry,
I get-
and it was still
Yeah,
full.
yes, too.
I get what you're saying. All right, so
Yes.
let's,
always
I'd like to make a suggestion or a motion, I guess, that we have the agent contact DEP
Yeah.
for their guidance on this issue.
Yeah. And a cease and desist is still in order on this until,
We didn't even get a formal one,
we gave a verbal.
verbal, we need to get a formal, I think, we need to get a formal in here.
I think that knows that he shouldn't do anything until we figure out where he's going.
You folks
Because
told me to
If
stop.
he does any more steps, it's just, if it turns,
Yeah, it's gonna compound.
Ugly, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
It'll
bad.
compound
I
the
just
whole
feel
thing.
like for us to do a formal, how much paperwork is it, and it might, it's just written, it's done. So back to whatever, if we go in court, it's written, it's there. We have to do everything by the book. Look at what done with the solar farms and where that's brought us and then the litigation. Who knows, he might try to come and sue us back.
At this
We need to do
point, I
something.
think we should wait for recommendation from the DEP.
All right, so there's a motion.
So, again, yeah.
I'll second.
The motion hasn't been made.
Everett,
Ever made the
Yeah, no,
motion.
never made the
Reach
motion.
out.
That was a complete, I feel like we butted in before it was completed.
You
Oh, he
did.
did it.
Would you like to restate your motion, Everett?
I would like to make a motion that the agent contact DEP for guidance in this issue.
Okay, there's a motion.
And I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
I
It's unanimous. All right, well, the agent will be in contact with you when he hears back, and we'll
Yeah.
And make
It's
it
gonna-
a motion.
we'll continue this.
Right?
Yeah,
I'd
so,
say.
Make
so
that motion to continue.
Yeah.
somebody want to make a motion to?
Make a motion to continue to the next meeting.
Is there a second?
Second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's the 28th.
The 28th.
Yeah.
28th?
Yep, yes.
I would highly suggest you do not do anything over near there. Like anything.
I understood.
And don't move the
when they
tractor
asked
around.
me
Don't
last
move, even
week.
go over there with the tractor.
Very good. No, very good.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, violations. Right away, 197 Leonard Street, possible wetland violation. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I guess we were contacted about potential filling, tree debris, stuff like that in the right of way.
There's some tires back in there, it's hard to know
Was there?
exactly how
Yeah.
long that they've been in there. We didn't wade in too far.
Right.
But you can see them from there's an access road.
Okay. My suggestion was to contact the landowner and ask, have a site visit.
Yeah.
Have everybody go out there and see it for themselves, so. And then we can throw it on the next agenda and discuss our findings, much like we did tonight.
That makes
So that'll be
sense.
the 25th we're walking?
Yeah, right, with the prior, yeah.
24.
Yeah,
24th.
On my calendar.
Yeah.
I have a question. So there's several abutters right along that in terms of letting folks know. Does the commission, should we contact?
I would. I mean, well.
There's
Are we gonna-
a
are we
presumption, there's
going
a
to,
presumption we have here in terms of
I get you.
the source.
Well, I mean.
You guys may know.
Yeah, so one of the ladies actually told us, that I throw all my stuff in there. So he's kind of right, we should let the abutters know because.
I would suggest the abutters know so that, when we're out there, they can do the walk with us. Typically, that's what
Yep.
we do, so.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 abutters of that little horseshoe there, like, per
Yep.
se.
Yeah, so they're all aware that, we're gonna be discussing it at the next meeting as well. So I don't have an issue with that. Yeah, if you can reach out to the abutters in between.
I talked to the assessor today. I was trying to determine who actually owned that little
Yep.
piece of wetland in there, but, so I've got the information.
You got it? Yeah.
Reach out.
Do you have anything to talk about on this topic?
Oh, not on this topic.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
No,
not-
I'm just kind of, I have a babysitter, so this is my night out. I came for the Eversource thing, but I didn't really hear that they were talking too much about what's going to impact my property.
Right,
And I was kind of too shy
be
to speak
specific,
up, but.
yeah.
Oh,
But
Wow,
I,
come on.
You could have
Well,
very well
Hold on.
I'm not a
addressed.
big fan of
Hold-
Eversource,
hold-
so I thought it might be best if I. But
None
I'm
of
curious.
none of us are, according to our last
So-
electric bills.
So, but we have other business still coming up, right?
Yeah.
Can I just ask who the Bill gentleman is that you're gonna be discussing the Eversource
Bill
plan
Madden.
with?
Bill Madden from
Bill
GAF.
GAF.
yeah, GAF Engineering. So
Wait.
for a while, we didn't have an agent and we used him as a consultant for the town. He represents us.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we're gonna do. I requested that he look at their, all their paperwork that they submitted to us, just go over it briefly, and then, these projects almost have to, we're just gonna make sure they use best management practices when they do the project. So, this project is, it's gonna happen,
I know, unfortunately.
but
But it
we
shouldn't impact
wanna
the
make
property.
sure that,
Oh, it's affecting me greatly.
Already?
Yeah.
She's right at the top.
I'm getting
Yeah.
affected too.
I'm 275 Mendel, and the
right away.
the easement wasn't portrayed accurately when I purchased a few years ago. So those lines are, if I got a good running start, I could probably jump out my children's window and grab onto a wire. And I had no idea.
Is it that? Yeah.
All of their work, I'm telling you right now, if you really pay attention to all their work, it's nothing like they say.
Nothing like they portray it.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
I mean, who, yeah.
Let's
That's
get in,
par for the
let's get
course.
out, let's
Par
make
for
it
the-
quick, let's make it
I mean,
simple.
obviously, we should keep an eye on what transpires as they move along.
But then we just said that they're
That's my
exempt, so we
opinion.
can't do nothing.
No, they're
else.
not, no,
I
no,
just-
they're
I
they're
just-
not exempt, they're not exempt, they're exempt from certain activities.
I just have a question. I'm not trying to be a smart ass or anything, but what was there first, your house or the electrical system?
I believe the easement was there first. There's question that the home might have been built in the wetland buffer.
Is it way up in the back of, is it a retreat lot?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I know which house you're talking about.
What, Knox's
sure
old
you-
house?
75.
Yep, that's the one.
Knox's old house, yeah.
I knew you were familiar. I saw your plants.
All right, so back, sorry to,
Yeah.
No, it's.
Yeah.
Okay,
But no.
I just,
But
I wanted
I
to
was
place
under the
house.
assumption that I should have gotten a certified mailing for the last meeting, and I never got one. And Eversource is sort of keeping me out of the loop on things because I'm going to become an intervener in this process. So I just want to make sure that I'm going to be
But
involved.
You were
in that I
notified
can.
about this
Get it
meeting,
though, right?
correct?
I got a certified
Yeah, you
mailing
did.
about this
Oh,
one.
okay, yeah.
But
Very
then I
good.
didn't really think that they were talking about us. They were talking more about the New Bedford line, right?
Yeah.
Well, it extends
But
Yeah,
there
right
is,
through
there is
town.
wetland on my property that they're putting the H-frames in.
But they're saying they're not.
I think there's another project.
There is.
Going,
No,
yeah.
there is
And
actually.
you're correct
There's
about
another-
that.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I
there is
know,
another
I
one.
know,
Yeah.
I've mentioned it the last two
Right.
meetings for a reason,
It's
because I
gonna go
know it's going on. I've
It's going
talked
for
to
her.
So I reached out
Right.
to my contact.
I don't
at
think they
Eversource, and
filed
she
for
said
that
that
one
was a
yet. We-
different
no, this
project.
is-
I don't know if that
No.
helps, but you guys made it sound like it didn't come
Told us
before you.
about it.
They're-
They've notified
They're
us.
doing the work right now?
I'm not sure if they do, but they did
Yeah,
send
they're
us
working right now.
notification
They're
letters.
working
We
on
know
the-
that.
They're
Unhappily.
working everywhere.
Right.
No, I'm saying,
They-
on Men-
it's
I think I know you're out on Mendel Road. The project that we were talking about tonight is from
From,
the west side of Mendel Road to, yeah. There's another project that's gonna go on though, that we've been notified about from
Mendel
Your-
Tap down to
the tap
Mattapoisett.
down to Mattapoisett,
So that's
yeah.
the one that,
yes.
so maybe I shouldn't have got the mailing about this one.
No, they
They still
This
have to.
one's still, yes.
yeah, I think they went like 1,000
They
feet
had
or
to go
something like
1,000
that.
feet,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. You
Oh,
might
okay.
have
But
went
the
1,000
other one
feet.
Right.
is,
You're right.
they've been notified about the other one, but there's been no filing.
There's been no filing, no, but we did get a letter saying that there was gonna be something going on your side.
I'm sure there's not much that I can do about it, but I want to try.
There might not be much that you can do, but if we all unite and do it together, we might be
Well,
able
I'm
to do
trying, so
something.
I even reached out to the Mass Department of Endangered Species because I know there's the box turtles. I don't know
Right.
where on that
Eastern
line.
box
Is it
turtle,
more,
yeah.
Well, they
more
did,
west?
It's more,
they did a whole box turtle study up in that area, and they actually had a, what do they call people, terrapin persons?
Yeah.
Go in and they actually they went in and they cleaned up the whole area where they nested. They cleaned it out and they put new sand and they improved their habitat for them to nest in. And then they could track, they were tracking the turtles going in
The movement, yeah.
right.
and coming back out of that
I-
nesting.
No, they're
area.
not.
I love that those practices are in place. I'm trying to grasp at straws. I'm finding marbled salamanders in my yard, and I'm sending emails to them because they're on the endangered. Well, maybe they're threatened,
Right.
but I'm just like,
No, there are turtles in the area because,
Oh, yeah.
Manise Properties, they had a no take and they actually donated land to the town with turtle habitat in
Yeah.
there.
and I'm not sure. I know Mendel Road. You guys, it's getting redone. There's a huge stormwater issue there with drainage, and I know that the you guys were mentioning the cement platforms that are going to stay might have an impact on runoff, that sort of thing, but would just the regular poles that they're gonna put in with like the auger, do those have any issue?
There's
Like,
no-
are you guys gonna redo the road and have it be a big deal because the H-frame is so close? Is it gonna mess?
I don't think there's there's no
drainage up?
concrete,
Yeah, just
there's no
the-
concrete pads. The only cement that there is like, it's like a 36-inch,
Like a thing in a parking lot of the shopping
yeah,
mall, only bigger.
like a light post, but bigger, you know?
It wouldn't, to answer the question, no, it won't have a huge impact. But like the area where they're filling stone, if they turn it into a stone road, which they're calling it an access road, that's where my concerns were coming in, because that's where I found other problems.
I see.
But
I'm just curious.
the power line poles and all
I'd
that,
love
like
to have
Ryan
them
was just
converted
saying.
somehow.
Get a babysitter every other Wednesday, you can come here and hang out.
And then when they left, I was like, should I leave? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna listen.
Well, it's a good learning process.
Awesome. No, it is, and I like how
Can we move this
passionate you
along?
guys seem to be about, you know, making them adhere to standards that you would require of a homeowner, and I'm really impressed by that.
Thank you.
All right, so sorry to interrupt. Back to the right of way.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, I mean, I don't know if it needs a motion. We can make a motion. I'll entertain a motion to contact the abutters to this right away and let them know that the commission will be out there on August 24th at a time to be determined for our site visit, and then it'll be added to our agenda for the 28th.
Well, we only had
Discuss.
one more new filing for Eversource at the end of Beach Street.
Oh, yeah.
Transmission line,
Yep.
so I guess we could get them out of the way. and
Over
then
there?
do
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
mean,
Yeah,
Okay, so
Some in my neighborhood too long.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we can do one of these officially. Agent updates. What do you got for us, Mark? Anything?
First one.
A lot of stuff we already discussed. I think a lot of you probably heard about, there was Joanne got a call this morning, there's a diesel spill over on Wing Lane.
Yeah.
And it's actually where the right-of-way meets the road. It's a steel plate in there. It's not, it's upland. So it went back to health, but it's probably about 10 feet by 20 feet. And I mean, there were two homeowners out there when I got there, and they said it's been good. They could smell it for about a week. I mean, you can see the spill. It's not, it's not.
Right.
There's gravel, sand, you can see it seeping down. And it was pretty, they said when the wind's blowing, it's in their house, so it's like being down in the engine room and,
Was Clean Harbors called for this site?
When I got back, that was kind of the resolution. It's because it's upland, I went over and talked to the health, but fire department was there. DEP had been notified. Who else had come out? I don't know if Clean Harbors had been notified or not.
So are we receiving any recommendations from any of the departments to take care of this issue?
I think it's health. I think it's health.
well,
because-
because first of all, did it impact the wetlands is what would be, fall inside our
Our
jurisdiction. Yeah, because it's clearly,
Where
an
is this one at the
environmental,
way
it's an environmental.
Wing Lane.
I mean, where is it?
But I think the first chain
With a
of
solar farm.
command is the
Yeah.
Board of Health.
Board of Health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
What caused it?
There was actually a guy there from, I got it right up actually.
Eversource?
No, he was from, he was from Riggs, Disler. They were actually out there sweeping for turtles. They were out there looking for turtles.
Sweeping.
But this kind of looked like a fun job. They had the buckets and, but he was there. He had some equipment on site. He said, we looked at our equipment. We haven't been out here. I don't see a leak, but
You saw,
he called. He said he called his environmental chain of command. Did he call you? I don't know who.
but this
Yes.
is,
The the homeowner called us, but so he's a my guess is he's a contractor. Yes, with Eversource, but he.
yeah, so this is exactly what we were just talking about. This is a perfect prime example.
Diesel spill?
Well, just them, yeah, it's just like all the mats being, I don't know, it's just, I
Well,
don't,
again-
nobody said nothing?
again,
You mean it just
you know,
happened and it just disappeared?
I don't
But yeah,
think-
Ryan asked them about their spill mattings and all about their things,
I,
and they have, all of them have this equipment,
Spill
this
kits, yeah.
spill kits to do this.
I don't
But yet
think
there's a big
that,
spill that just pops up out of nowhere, on their watch, in my eyes.
As far as
And then this-
enforcement and something like that, I don't think that lies with us.
Only if it was your
Yeah.
Well, it is all literally.
Yeah, ultimately,
But
I
enforcement,
can give it.
No, with a spill.
That would be-
If you want to see pictures.
Mark went through it today.
that would actually be criminal.
I
as well.
was sure.
Yeah, you did.
No, Mark was there.
That whole meadow on the.
I didn't notice who you sent it to.
That whole meadow is,
That spill was all upland, correct? Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, it was all upland.
It's all up.
So when you're going down Wing
I mean,
Lane,
as far as enforcement.
if you're going down Wing Lane,
Yeah.
right? And
South.
you hit the first solar
South,
farm.
I think I'm going south there.
South is here, this way.
I got
Yep,
you,
so
I
you're
got
going down Wing Lane South, was it?
Yeah, it's on the right. There's a solar farm
Yep,
up.
and then
up
there's a
further.
field.
Yeah, and they had some of their equipment is parked up in there. They had a couple trucks farther back. We took pictures, so I can provide you with some pictures as well if you want.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I'll email them to
It
you.
was right where the steel plate is in place for their trucks.
To
come off
transition
of-
from the road to the mats.
Yeah, and maybe they were fueling, I
Did
don't know.
you wouldn't happen to
It's up
walk
on-
down that mat, have you?
Beg your pardon? I
You
think
didn't
so.
happen to walk down that mat, did you?
I was,
Now, you said
I was
DEP was
there.
notified?
DEP was
Yeah, so
notified. Fire
that would be
department
the.
What I'm
the
getting
chain
at
of,
with
you
the
know,
wetland
events.
thing, just
DEP
because the
clearly
spill's there, doesn't mean
substantial
it
spill
started
Has to
there.
be,
That's what I'm getting at. So now if you walk that mat and just look for evidence of spillage farther down towards,
It's
the-
about 10 by 20 feet. I didn't go farther up the right of way there, but you can kind of see dead vegetation, but it's grasses, it's not wetland. And, I mean, you can
I'm
kind
not
of see
saying
the
that- I'm
footprint
not
of the
saying
spill.
that-
It's not that there wasn't more elsewhere, but, I mean, it was.
I was just curious if you walked towards the wetland and if you noticed anything over there. I might be willing to go walk there, I don't.
Yeah, take a walk.
Olivia loves the forest.
Next,
What do you want? Oh.
Olivia loves the forest. We've been riding our bike through there.
other business, no other business, future business. Next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be on August 28th, 2024, meeting to be held in the Town Hall Meeting Room. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have one other.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
That's okay, we went out, Christian and I went out to 160 Peckham Road today. It was a project, it's Josh Sharuda, who I don't know, but he had been in the office. Day before, I think it was July 22nd, 22. Conditions, you guys issued conditions, and he's trying to get to work now, so we went out to look at the siltation fence. There was supposed to be some siltation in there. It's pretty overgrown at this point. And there was supposed to be flagging, so we tried to get up in the property. I went as far back in, came back across the lot, and then came back out. And what's there is overgrown. There was the canvas, the socks, but I could only find about maybe 20 feet, 15, 20 feet, and it's pretty buried. I mean, it's not really doing anything.
What was the address?
And I didn't see any flagging.
160,
Is it in the, with
One Street Lot C.
Oh, yeah.
160 what?
Peckham
No.
Road.
Peckham.
Just after
This
the
yet to be
cemetery on the
developed.
left.
So
But
it's
this is-
This is,
it's an
okay.
area that has been,
That's Roman
has
Hills.
been
Roman
approved.
Yes.
It is, from what
Yeah,
I'm
two houses
hearing,
are
that,
down.
I didn't know anything about that,
Yeah.
but.
So, I mean,
That's-
ultimately,
Silk
just,
Sock's been there for years.
I couldn't see
It's
any.
probably
I
out
really- I
deteriorating
didn't
by
see
now.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
just fabric. It looked like, fabric.
So we
That's
looked at
just
a pull
near
permit
years.
from the Board of
So what do they
Health for
want?
septic installation.
Oh.
Our policy is that he has to come to the conservation again.
for a sign off.
For a sign off. So seeing that it was from 2022, I asked him if the, siltation was up according to the plan. He said, well, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna send the agent out due to our policy. And he's gotta see it. So
Well-
that's what happened today.
I think it needs.
Well, I think what you should do is not sign that document until the erosion control's in place.
Yeah.
That would be my
I
recommendation.
agree.
That's pretty much standard practice,
Yeah, so he called this afternoon and I told him that the discussion would be had tonight, so I guess Mark can give
Is
him a
that
call tomorrow and let
something we
him
should
know.
refresh our memory on and go do a quick site visit?
No, I mean, we already voted on it. He has an active order of
Yeah.
conditions.
Right.
He's required
This goes back
to
to
maintain his
22.
erosion control because he has an active order of conditions.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he's gonna have to.
whether, he hasn't done anything.
No.
Well, like you said, Ron, we don't sign the, check off the box.
Well, yeah, I
Tell
mean,
them to put their erosion control like it belongs, like on the print. and then we'll,
Yeah,
if
and
you want to do a
then-
site
and then
visit, or,
No, we don't need a site visit, we already voted on,
no, so in the end, you can just take a
Yeah,
ride over there. make
verify,
sure-
Mark, take a ride out there,
Verify,
quick-
right.
quick
Yeah.
inspection, and, yeah.
Yeah, he'll go back again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call us when you're done. I mean, do you want to put a date? I mean, he's the one needing to work, so we don't
Yeah,
have to put
no,
any time on it.
that's, no,
Right.
That's up to him.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of,
He should call you and sit next week and say, hey, it's
Right.
done, come check it out.
Just tell them,
Truthfully.
tell the Board of Health that, they'll get the sign off once the erosion control's installed. That's fine. I'm sorry to cut you off, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just looking at the clock.
I know.
Garfield?
Yeah.
I'll be living by it.
There wasn't really
No,
anything there.
it's not, they're not at that point, and so there really wasn't anything to review.
Well, that was, yeah. So Mr. Rogers on Garfield Street wanted roof drain inspections, but we don't have the surety. We have it now. It hasn't been
Oh, I
reviewed.
heard, right.
We don't have anything recorded at the registry of deeds for the operation and maintenance plan. So that needs to still be done. I was overwhelmed on Thursday, Tuesday with craziness going on every day.
Yeah.
But that was,
Just
so I just
another
asked
day.
him if he could wait till after my meeting till Thursday, but Mark said was well, it was you today.
Yeah.
So we kind of sped it up a day. But if Mr. Rogers comes in tomorrow, I'll have him sign that operation and maintenance. He needs to pay the fee to do the Bristol County Registry of Deeds recording. And as far as the surety, I would think the town accountant and the treasurer have to
Yeah.
review that first. And then Ryan's come in and reviewed the permit for the stormwater to issue it. So, but once we get those other things done, I mean, I don't think we can, I'll hold them to, that's okay with you, Ryan, me getting down to record it right away. As long as I have the fees and the documents in place, I think we're pretty good.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, future business. The next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be on August 28th, 2024. Meeting to be held at the Town Hall Meeting Room located at 122 Main Street, Acushnet, Mass.
Motion to dismiss.
Second? All those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.